What's going on YouTube? It's Phil here back with another video. So just recently hit 4 months of semen retention and gonna drop a video. Got the day off today. So the theme of today's video is, am I the asshole? Are you the asshole in your life? So I want you to imagine a situation. So you got this friend and he's not your best friend, but he's a friend, and you hang out from time to time, and you run into him. You're out and about. Say you're out the shops, you see him, and you run into him, and he's like, "Oh man, we should catch up." So you make this arrangement to catch up. You set a date and a place and a time, and you're like, "Cool," and the day comes, and you send the dude a text and like, yeah, hey man, are we all good to meet up today? And he's like, oh, sorry man, totally forgot. My bad. We'll catch you next time. And you think, oh, you're a bit put out because you made this arrangement with your friend, and he sort of pikes on you, and so you're a bit annoyed and disappointed. But you're like, yeah, cool. It happens. People forget, whatever. So you reschedule. You make another plan. You're like, okay, we'll catch you next week. We'll do this. We'll go catch a movie or whatever. So then, the day comes. You shoot him a message maybe the day before, and you don't hear back from him. And then he texts you back the next day, right before you'd arranged to meet. And he's like, oh, sorry, man. Yeah, sorry, can't do it. And you sort of get a bit more annoyed this time. You're like, oh, whatever. Give him the benefit of the doubt. Because you still want to catch up with your friend, and then you reschedule, you make another arrangement, and you postpone till next week. Oh man, we'll go out to this cafe, we'll eat, we'll catch up, we'll shoot the shit, whatever. And then the day before, you send him a text, and you don't hear back, and then the time that you were gonna meet comes and goes, and then he texts you back a couple days later and goes, oh, sorry, man, I've just been super busy, whatever. Gives you some excuse. At this point, you'd probably get annoyed. You'd probably be like, okay, man, we've tried to meet up 3 times, and, you're just sort of mucking me around. You're not interested. You get annoyed. And probably at that point, after 3 times, you probably go, okay, man, let's just forget about it. And you'd probably draw a line there and go, this person obviously doesn't really give a shit about me, my time. They're not important. I'm going to draw a bit of a boundary and go, like, if this person wants to meet, they're going to make the effort. And you probably just leave that person. That's probably what I would do. I think that's what most reasonable people would do. Okay? Now, so you're annoyed at this person because they haven't respected your time, your energy. They've made you feel unimportant, okay? You probably have these feelings of annoyance and frustration and being ignored, and just being like this person doesn't value you or your time. You like all sorts of feelings, but something along those lines, right? Okay. So you would probably, most reasonable people would draw a boundary at that point, and you'd be well within your right to do so. So now I want you to think of this slightly differently. How often do you do that to yourself? How often do you make promises to yourself and then break them? Think about this for a sec. How many times have you said, oh yeah, man, I'm going to go to the gym tomorrow. Man, I'll meet you at the gym tomorrow. You're saying this yourself. Yeah, I'm totally going to go to the gym tomorrow. 7 a.m. before work, I'm going to show up and I'm going to do an hour at the gym. And you just don't. Oh man, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. And then tomorrow rocks around and you don't. And then, oh, Wednesday, I'll be at the gym on Wednesday. And a week goes by and you promise yourself every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you go to the gym. And you broke the promise to yourself. You stood yourself up. You were the asshole friend to yourself. And that creates feelings of shame and frustration and annoyance, but with yourself. And even if you don't consciously realize it, you're teaching yourself that you're the asshole. Underneath all that, you're sabotaging yourself and you're creating this feeling of resentment and shame towards yourself. You keep breaking these promises to yourself, okay? And this can happen with anything. It can happen to, oh, I'm going to start that exercise program. Oh, I'm going to start that nutrition program. I'm going to start that new routine. I'm going to start applying for jobs. I'm going to do this. And you don't. You break these promises to yourself and you create this subconscious resentment against yourself. You're the asshole in this situation, but you're doing it to yourself. So, am I the asshole? Yes, you're the asshole, but you're doing it to yourself, man. Would you put up with that behavior from anybody else in your life who keeps breaking promises to you? No, you'd probably stand up for yourself pretty, like after two or three times of that, you'd be like, hey man, this is bullshit. Don't treat me like that. But you keep doing it to yourself. You are the asshole to yourself, and you do it with no fap. You do it with semen retention. How many times have you promised, oh, this will be the last time. I'm never going to do this again. Oh, I'm going to go 90 days. I'm going to go for 3 months. I'm going to go for a week. I'm just going to go this whole week and I'm not going to like PMO. And you break the promise to yourself. And it creates a feeling of shame and resentment towards yourself. And in the end, you become the asshole in your life that you can't trust. It's like, I can't trust that asshole. I can't trust him to follow through and to keep that promise. He always lets me down. And you resent yourself. You start subconsciously resenting yourself and you don't respect yourself because you're like, oh, that guy never follows through. You don't follow through for yourself. And it just creates this internal feeling of shame and resentment and self-loathing. And man, that is a really, really bad place to be. That is not the person you want to be. You want to become the man that shows up for himself first. If you can't show up for yourself, you're never going to show up for anybody else. You've got to be able to show up for yourself first. That's why self-care is so important. This is why semen retention is so important. You stop breaking those promises to yourself and you start building up self-respect. To get that inner core confidence, you got to start making little promises to yourself and then start keeping them and following through and be a man of your word to yourself. You've got to be the man of your word to yourself first before you can be that rock for other people. You can't do it for yourself. You're not going to be able to do it for anybody else in your life. That's why self-care comes first. You've got to look after number one first. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You need to be able to meet your own needs first, keep those promises to yourself, build the self-respect for yourself, build trust in yourself, be the person, be the man that you can rely on for yourself. And that'll build self-respect. That'll build self-confidence. Stop breaking promises to yourself, man. Because you're just going to hate yourself. You're going to have this self-loathing, this undercurrent, be like, oh, that guy always lets me down. And you're letting yourself down. You're the asshole in your own life. Stop being the asshole. Don't break promises to yourself, man. And I know it's hard. I know it's hard with semen retention. We've all been there. But once you start keeping those promises to yourself, and like, none of us are perfect. You're always going to let yourself down a little bit. But start small. Start with promises you know that you've got a good chance of keeping. Not too easy, because then it's too easy. You don't build any respect that way. But, start with something small. Start with a promise, I'm going to go to the gym, or I'm just going to do, tomorrow I'm going to get up, I'm going to do 30 push-ups. Do something that's not trivial, but a little bit challenging, but something that you can keep. A promise you can keep, and start keeping those promises. Just go for a day, no fap, semen retention. Keep that promise to yourself and allow yourself to congratulate yourself at the end of that. Go, oh, man, I kept my word to myself as a man. I made a promise to myself as a man and I kept my word. So if you do keep your promises, you're allowed to congratulate yourself. You're allowed to reward yourself. Maybe treat yourself to something nice. And those little wins, they build on themselves. But stop breaking promises to yourself, man. Don't be the asshole friend in your own life. You wouldn't tolerate it from anyone else. Why do you tolerate it from yourself? You're eroding your self-confidence. You're eroding your trust in yourself as a man. So you got to stop doing that. But start small. Start these little wins and then build on the momentum and gradually build it up and build it up and build it up until before you know it, you got 90 days behind you. You've hit the gym for 90 days. You've had a good, clean nutrition plan for 90 days. And you'll be looking back and go, man, I did that. And the amount of self-respect you'll have from that, nobody can take that away from you. And you'll have that. And you'll be able to go, yeah, man, I did that shit. I didn't let myself down. I showed up for myself for 90 days. That's huge, man. Once you do that, you'll be coming from a place of empowerment as a man. You've shown up for 90 days for yourself as a man. And man, nobody can take that away from you, and that's priceless. So that is the message of today's video. Don't be the asshole. Show up for yourself as a man every day. Stop breaking promises to yourself. That's all for today, man. So I don't want to make this too long a video, bros. But if you're watching, I super appreciate that you're tuning in. Smash that like button, drop a like, drop a comment, subscribe. I'm really more interested in your comments, so drop a comment below. Doesn't matter if you're 1 day, 10 days, 100 days, 1,000 days, or if you're just thinking about trying semen retention, just try. See if you can get a day, see if you can get 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. If you relapse, don't beat yourself up, dust yourself back off, and then start keeping promises to yourself, man. Go a little bit longer, and eventually 2 days will become 5 days. 5 days will become 10 days. 10 days will become 2 weeks. 2 weeks will become a month. A month will become 2 months. 2 months will become 3 months. You'll hit that 90 days and you'll feel confident in yourself as a man, that you can trust yourself, that you're going to show up for yourself and be that advocate for yourself and be that best mate to yourself. That's what I'm talking about, bros. So yeah, I don't want to make this video too long. I'm going to leave it there and I'll see you on the next video.